You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Good afternoon. This is a first for me, live streaming in the afternoon. And when you see today's astrology transit, you can see why I was feeling a little bit sleepier this morning. You might have been too. Today is December 23rd, but in this live stream, we're going to talk through the entire weekend. We're talking through the energy of Christmas Eve, this Saturn square Uranus that is going exact at 11 p.m. Pacific time tonight. So this is the energy that will dominate our Christmas Eve. And it's the energy we've been feeling quite a bit already for the past week or so. It'll carry us through the new year. And then we get a conjunction for Christmas. Venus and Pluto form a conjunction yet again, just 2 weeks after we first saw a conjunction between them. Now Venus is retrograde. That's the energy we'll be feeling for Christmas. And then the day after Christmas, we have a nice sextile between Mercury and Neptune. So we're going to talk you through everything as well as what's going on with the moon. And then we'll pull a card at the end of this live stream to see what Spirit has to say about the holiday festivities we're all getting ready to embark on. So if you're watching with me live, say hello in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions, if you're looking for any advice. You might see my dogs running around in the backyard. We're live streaming on the road today from Arizona. So this is where I'm spending my holidays. I hope that you guys have made it to where you're spending yours, or you have some nice plans in place to spend time with family. But how's everybody feeling today? Let's just start with Thursday. Today's the 23rd, as I mentioned. And tonight is when we have that square between Saturn and Uranus. But if you pull up the chart right now, you'll see the energy that has really dominated this morning has been the moon has been connecting with Neptune. So let me pull that up right here. And for me, that showed up as being really sleepy this morning. The moon forming this awkward angle to Neptune. The moon is a waning gibbous moon right now in Leo. So it's kind of helping us get into that more joyful spirit with the moon in Leo. But when it forms that imbalanced angle to Neptune this morning, that was a few hours ago at this point. For me, it looked like a really sluggish, tired morning. The moon in Leo makes a couple other connections this afternoon. So in about an hour or so, the moon forms another awkward angle. Today's just kind of the day of awkward angles with that Leo moon. Venus and Pluto are in this conjunction with one another, coming back into this conjunction with one another, as we just mentioned. So the moon will form an awkward angle to both of them this evening. You can see that on our chart here. Jump ahead a couple hours. But Venus and Pluto are at 25, 26 degrees in Capricorn. The moon is in Leo. This is an awkward connection. And so, you know, we might feel a little bit awkward as well when it comes to our relationship with money, the changes we're going through in our relationships, in our careers, any partnerships. This can also just look like awkwardness or even a little bit of anxiety about what's to come over this week whether that looks like gatherings with family, whether that looks like, presents you still have to get wrapped. So love, money, career, changes, we could be feeling kind of an awkwardness about those things this afternoon. And, the Leo moon wants us to have fun. We are in the holidays. They're here. And, there's part of us, that little kid part of us that's like, it's Christmas. Yay. Like, let's celebrate. But then, we still might have things to check off our to-do list, or we might be preparing ourselves for uncomfortable conversations around the holiday table. Tonight, 11 p.m. Pacific time, so overnight for most of us, the moon opposes Jupiter. If you are going out on a Thursday night, maybe you're starting to really ramp up those holiday festivities today, be careful not to go overboard. Jupiter is the planet of excess, and like I said, the moon in Leo wants us to have fun, but when these two energies oppose each other, it could bring an overzealous amount of energy. It could bring unwanted attention even. Our emotions could be a little bit more dramatic or overwhelming under this transit, so it can be really easy to go overboard or overreact tonight. The big transit that's dominating the 23rd and the 24th is a square between Saturn and Uranus. And we went into this deeply on, I believe it was the 16th of December was when Saturn started squaring off to Uranus. So we've been feeling this energy now for about a week. But tonight at 11 p.m. Pacific time, so 2 a.m. Eastern time, overnight for most of us, Saturn forms that exact square to Uranus. The transit becomes exact. And as I mentioned, this energy will continue carrying us through the 31st. So it's really dominating the back half of December for us. But today will be when we really are feeling it. You can see that here. Uranus is at 11 degrees in Taurus. Saturn is at 11 degrees in Aquarius. Now, let's talk about these two planets really quickly. And if you want more of a deep dive into the square between Saturn and Uranus, head to thespiritualjournalist.com right now and look at the blog post or the forecast for December 23rd. In the video in that blog post, I talk in depth about what energy is coming. But you can look at this like a clash between generations. Uranus wants freedom. It wants rebellion. It's that technology leaning energy, kind of that new generation, whereas Saturn likes boundaries and rules and structures and is very much focused on the past. So when these two planets form a 90-degree angle with one another, a square with one another, this looks like tension between the new and the old. Maybe the new way of doing things and the old way of doing things. Maybe it's tension between generations. The older generation might be set in their ways or have a certain expectation of how things are supposed to go. And newer generations like to do things a little bit differently with that Uranus energy. So this could bring a clash between the new and the old over the holidays. And even though these planets are forming this exact square tonight, we will continue to feel this energy very strongly through the weekend, and it could certainly show up in your holiday celebrations. So definitely be aware of that. It's also important to note that this is the third of 3 squares between Saturn and Uranus this year. So this has been the story of 2021. The first square was exact in mid-February. The second square, when Saturn was retrograde, was exact in mid-June. And now we're seeing the third and final square between these two planets. So you might also be feeling some tension about the pandemic. When we look back at what was happening during those two times, we were seeing breakthrough cases, we were seeing a new variant, and now we're seeing the Omicron variant. So regardless of how you're feeling about the Omicron variant, it's likely to be something that comes up during holiday celebrations. There's really no getting around it at this point. So, prepare for that tension around that subject. And, you're here, you're watching this. So just really be in the mindset of trying to not stir the pot, not contribute to any conflict, but really just stand strong in your beliefs and your energy as you try to navigate family gatherings. And remember, everybody's entitled to their own point of view. It's not our job to change anyone's opinion. It's just our job to be responsible for our own energy, right? So that's what's going on very strongly the 23rd and Christmas Eve. And what's cool about this is that the last time we saw this exact square between Saturn and Uranus was during the new millennium, a series of squares between 1999 and 2000. So this can bring about quite a bit of societal change. These are big planets. They rule big issues. And with COVID, that is a huge societal change in itself, but expect to feel those shifts a little bit more so around this holiday season. And I think, we're already feeling it since this square started to form between Saturn and Uranus. A lot of people have been saying they just didn't feel like putting up their Christmas tree this year, or just Christmas feels different this year. And the transits are making for some discomfort around the holidays, unfortunately. Everybody, you get a little show back here behind me. That's what happens when we take the show on the road. So the last time Saturn and Uranus formed this square was at the turn of the millennium, or the new millennium. The next time we'll experience a square, an exact square between these two planets, will not be until 2043. So this is a powerful moment. Even though it might feel uncomfortable, even though it might bring some tension, there is a lot of power behind what's happening, this transition that's happening. All right, so that's going to be carrying us through the holidays. It goes exact tonight. And then on the 24th, Christmas Eve, the only other energy we're really going to be feeling other than that square between Saturn and Uranus is the moon moving into Virgo. And right now we have a waning gibbous moon. So this is a releasing phase of the moon. When the moon becomes full, that's the culmination point. And during the waning moon, we're asked to release. Now, the moon moving into Virgo reminds us of our expectations. We will be very aware of our expectations of ourselves and of expectations of other people. This definitely puts us in the mood to serve others. We love to be helpful when the moon is in Virgo, but it can also make us a little bit overly analytical and overly focused on that to-do list, on all the expectations we've had for ourselves, on finalizing all those little details for Christmas, wrapping gifts, running those last minute errands. That will certainly be the energy when the moon moves into Virgo overnight tonight and into Christmas Eve. But we'll really enjoy being selfless with the moon in Virgo. So that is a positive of this transit. We really love to serve others when the moon is in Virgo. And let me fast forward, where I guess here we are. The moon is in Virgo now on our chart. So that happens at 1 a.m. Pacific time. And then the first major connection the moon makes is going to be around 5 a.m. And it's a nice harmonious angle, a trine to the sun. Both of these luminaries are in earth signs tomorrow. And so this looks like harmony between our inner self and our outer self. We can show up more confidently when the moon forms a trine to the sun. And so expect to feel good, feel positive, feel abundant on Christmas Eve. Our strong sense of self under this transit is actually backed by our rational mind, our practicality. This is almost like when the Virgo moon is flowing with the Capricorn sun, we're like, we know our shit. We got this. We're very rooted and grounded and comfortable in our own energy. And we're definitely in an energy of success as well. We'll feel more successful and secure under this transit. So, as I mentioned, the Virgo moon can make us be kind of in go, go, go mode, cross off all the things on the to-do list, everything I have to get done, all the expectations, but we'll also feel confident in our ability to do that. And our confidence can bring us good fortune on Christmas Eve. Now, by 4 p.m., let's fast forward on the chart here, things start to get a little bit hairy because the moon squares off to Mars and forms an awkward angle to Chiron. Not the most ideal transit. So this is 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Maybe you're traveling, maybe it's already in the middle of holiday celebrations wherever you are. But we have the Virgo moon at 8 degrees here in Virgo, of course, and then Chiron, not quite opposite the moon, but forming that awkward and conjunct angle, and then a square to Mars in Sagittarius. So how does this play out for us? Well, we could start to be a little bit more irritable by the afternoon, evening hours of Christmas Eve, especially if things aren't going according to our expectations with that moon in Virgo, right? We could feel a little bit more practical and rational and analytical with a moon in Virgo, but with that square to Mars, Mars in Sagittarius just wants us to take action, just wants to be free. So it's almost this like impulsive energy, like I just want to go, I just want to do, I just want to have fun and be free, while the Virgo moon is like, wait, but practically this doesn't make sense. I don't necessarily, want to do those things. We can't quite fully process why we want to do the things we want to do. So it can definitely feel like a clash between that internal external energy by 4 p.m. Pacific time, and then the awkward angle to Chiron can provoke our deep wounds in the process. So if you're feeling yourself getting more irritable by the evening of Christmas Eve, try to be mindful of your own healing journey in this moment. Try to not let your emotions get the best of you. And this could also, as I'm saying this could look like us getting frustrated by the expectations we put on ourselves, or by the expectations we put on other people. The Virgo moon, it can be very critical. And when it squares off to Mars, it can be really hard to hold back that criticism, especially if our wounds are provoked or we're feeling insecure. It can be really easy to criticize others, lash out on others, point out everybody else's flaws. So try not to do that on Christmas Eve. Just know this energy is coming, and know that you're probably going to be triggered at some point. So just, again, really try to stand in your own energy. And if irritations come up, try to be more observant and use that analytical Virgo energy to ask what they're showing you. Why is this coming up? That could actually help you along your healing journey. There are no accidents. So, whatever the universe is putting in your path is always the opportunity for a lesson. By 10 p.m. on Christmas Eve, so right before Santa makes his stops at our house, we're going to feel a change of pace as the Virgo moon forms a trine to Uranus in Taurus. This is bringing us back into that earth energy. Uranus and the moon are flowing with each other, and this brings that exciting feeling. We all know what it feels like when Santa is on his way. It's almost hard to sleep. We crave that excitement. We're wondering what he's going to leave under the tree for us. And when the moon forms a flowing angle to Uranus, we will definitely feel that excitement. However, at the same time, take a look at this. So the moon is trine Uranus here, but it's also forming an awkward angle to Saturn, because remember, Uranus and Saturn are very much connected in this square right now. So although we're excited and we have these expectations and we can't wait to see what Santa brought us, we also have that doubt creep in with an awkward angle to Saturn. We also have those limiting beliefs creep in. We also have the what ifs, the worry. What if our gifts don't meet everybody else's expectations? What if what Santa brought us isn't what we actually wanted? So as much as we'll feel excitement, try not to let that doubt creep in. And as this Virgo moon is a waning moon, really try to release those expectations. Releasing the expectations, focusing only on what you can control, your own energy, is really the key to release under this Virgo moon. Letting go of what you thought Christmas should look like, even before Christmas even happens. Just let go of this vision you have in your head of exactly how it's going to go, and flow through it. Let it happen. Be in the energy of service, as the Virgo moon loves us to do. Focus on what you're giving to others, and the experience, the energy you're bringing in when you're around family. That service in itself, coming in a good energy and kind of setting the tone, being that thermostat rather than the thermometer. All right. Hi, Claudia. Happy holidays. Safe travels to you as well. Thank you for being here. So we made it through the transits of Christmas Eve, and that's just the beginning of it. We have a wild Christmas in store for us as well. So, we're talking about a lot of tense transits simultaneously with really positive transits, which I think is interesting because there's a lot of duality in this forecast through the weekend, and being around our family can bring out those feelings of duality, those feelings of intense love and joy and connecting to our childhood and connecting to a former version of ourselves and, just the joy and positive energy of the holiday season in general. But the holidays, being around family, can certainly trigger other people as well, or trigger the feelings within ourselves. So be aware of that duality. We all live in duality, and just acknowledging that it's there and that, you might be triggered can help you move through those triggers in the first place. And speaking of triggers, the first connection we see on Christmas morning, it'll be at 2:30 a.m. on Christmas Pacific time, so 5:30 a.m., which means if you're on the East Coast or even farther east than that, you'll really be feeling this energy as you're opening gifts, as you're coming down the stairs, or, just waking up on Christmas morning. Mars in Sagittarius forms a flowing angle to Chiron. Now, this flowing angle, a trine, is a positive connection. This is a good thing. But Mars in Sagittarius, that's the let's go open gifts energy, no holding back, freedom, expansion, open it all, do it all, excess, that's that Mars in Sagittarius energy. When it forms this trine to Chiron in Aries, also a fire sign, we can act very easily from a place of healing. We can use everything we've learned while Chiron was retrograde over the past 5 months through our actions. But because, this is such an impulsive energy, a fiery energy with both of these planets, both of these bodies, it can make us feel a little bit more impulsive when we're opening gifts. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's the time to be impulsive, right? When you're ripping wrapping paper and things like that. But this trine between Mars and Chiron also, to me, brings an opportunity to show up as a healed version of yourself, to take action as a healed version of yourself. And as you do that, you can bring healing and good fortune to your entire family. So as the planet of action, the planet of motivation forms a flowing angle to Chiron, the wounded healer, don't underestimate the impact sharing your own healing and simply showing up from that place of healing can have on the people around you and your family members, and even those people who you think are never going to change and are really set in their ways. Grandma's never going to change. She's always going to be this way. Don't be surprised just by showing up in a positive energy and showing up as a healed, more evolved version of yourself. That can really have an impact on other people. Okay, but in the same breath, we have another conjunction between Venus and Pluto on Christmas. So on 12/12, Venus formed a conjunction with Pluto, and you see that here on the chart. They're in a conjunction on Christmas as well. So Venus was making its way through Capricorn, got to about 26 degrees in Capricorn when it went retrograde. So Venus, the planet of love, the planet of money, our feminine energy, our desires, our values, is now going retrograde. And so it met up with Pluto once, kept going forward. Now it's meeting up with Pluto again. We're experiencing changes when it comes to our values. We're experiencing changes in our relationships. We're experiencing a death and rebirth cycle when it comes to our money, when it comes to how we view love and relationships. And, I think everybody is experiencing a death and rebirth of our values. And that might be another reason why Christmas just feels a little bit odd this year. We're trying to figure out, how do we relate to this holiday? The nice thing about Venus retrograde, I always like to find a silver lining, is that retrogrades make us kind of go back in time, act as a past version of ourselves. And so you might be revisiting issues from your childhood over Christmas. And when Venus is retrograde, it can make us a little bit more nostalgic. So this can actually play into a positive energy of Christmas, kind of helping us go back into that nostalgia. Just make sure you don't go too far back and start acting out old patterns, old negative patterns that you might have acted out when you were a child, or the last time you were around family members. If there was any conflict or any shifts, anything that intense that came up around the 12th, 2 weeks ago, you could be revisiting those issues again as well. Whatever the situation is, when Pluto's involved, we really have this need for control. So on Christmas, make sure you're not trying to manipulate any situations through guilt, through jealousy. Make sure you're not trying to control other people, because our shadows can come out pretty easily with this conjunction between Pluto and Venus retrograde. We have this intense need for love and affection, but how we go about showing that can be very manipulative, and this could cause negative outcomes or tension. However, conjunctions aren't always bad things. This conjunction between Venus and Pluto on Christmas can bring a powerful opportunity for rebirth. What better thing to talk about on Christmas than rebirth, when this is a holiday celebrating the birth of Christ? So, especially because we have Mars forming this harmonious angle to Chiron, which just went direct. We're really aware of our healing on Christmas. Venus forming a conjunction to Pluto could just bring a powerful shift or change or rebirth to your relationship to money, to your relationship to love. So expect intense conversations or situations around those topics, but don't necessarily expect a negative outcome from those situations, because this brings a powerful opportunity to change. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just try not to let guilt, jealousy, manipulation take over with Pluto involved. Try not to act from past patterning, because our subconscious can kind of take the wheel when Pluto's involved, and that can cause some messiness on Christmas. The moon stays in Virgo on Christmas Day, and it forms a nice harmonious angle to Mercury and Capricorn by 11 a.m. Pacific time or early afternoon Eastern time. So that will make conversation flow very easily. The moon in Virgo makes us more talkative in general. Mercury and Capricorn, Mercury being the planet of communication, helps us have more practical conversations. And, we keep talking about serving others with the moon in Virgo. Serving others can just simply be speaking kindly to them, being generous. So, coming from a place of service, even with the words you're speaking, can have a really good outcome on Christmas. And then by midnight, this will be early Sunday morning for those of you who live beyond the West Coast, we have another trine between the Virgo moon and that conjunction between Venus and Pluto. So if you're up late on Christmas, you might really be in your feels about that transformation when it comes to your relationship to love and money. We just talked about with that Venus-Pluto conjunction. You might be really emotionally aware of the shifts, the death and rebirth that's happening in those areas of your life. If you can allow yourself to really feel those emotions fully, and then observe what they're showing you, what they're telling you, you can navigate the Venus-Pluto conjunction in general a little bit more easily. So if you're feeling emotional late in the night on Christmas, just allow those emotions to come up and use your analytical mind, as Virgos love to do, to extract the lesson and figure out, okay, why am I getting emotional? What are these emotions showing me? And if you can do that, if you can be the observer of your emotions, even through intensity with that Venus-Pluto conjunction, good fortune can really come from whatever situation you're in. And it can be a lot easier to just move through it. All right, that's Christmas. Now let's talk about Sunday. So we made it through the square between Saturn and Uranus. Still be feeling it on Sunday, but we made it through the exact square. We're on the back half of that energy. We made it through this second conjunction between Venus and Pluto. Spoiler alert, there will be another conjunction between these two planets in January once Venus becomes direct again, starts heading forward again. It'll meet up with Pluto yet again. So this is kind of a series of 3, and pay attention to what's coming up for you emotionally and what's coming up to you in love, for you in love and money on Christmas. That will likely be revisited in January. Things lighten up quite a bit on Sunday. Thank goodness, right? So on the 26th, in the afternoon, Mercury in Capricorn gets support from Neptune in Pisces. This is a nice supportive angle. It does require a little bit of action, so we have to put a little energy in to get a little energy out of this transit. However, we can connect to our intuition more easily when Mercury forms this sextile to Neptune. Neptune rules our subconscious. It's the planet of dreams and fantasies. So we will likely be a little bit more imaginative as well when Neptune is involved. And we can be thinking a lot about our dreams in 2022, especially with Mercury and Capricorn having us think about long-term plans, having discussions about long-term plans. When Neptune's in the mix, we can really fantasize about what we want the next year to look like, what our hopes and dreams are for 2022. So here you go. You can see Mercury in Capricorn at 20 degrees, Neptune and Pisces at 20 degrees. There is that sextile we're talking about. And leaning into your imagination and creativity on Sunday, really opening your mind, can be really beneficial. If you have a hard time kind of getting into that fantasy, imaginative state, try to open your mind through meditation, even having open and vulnerable conversation, having that empathetic communication with other people can bring profound realizations, and it'll feel more enjoyable and more aligned, I should say, when Mercury forms this sextile to Neptune on Sunday. So if you're still hanging out with family on Sunday, wrapping up your holiday plans, we'll definitely start to think pretty quickly about 2022 and our plans for the future, but we can also have really nice, vulnerable, sympathetic, sentimental moments and conversations with loved ones on Sunday. The moon stays in Virgo until about 8 a.m. on Sunday, forms an awkward angle to Jupiter early Sunday morning. So if you went a little too hard on Christmas, you might be feeling a hangover on Sunday morning. The Virgo moon is all about our internal wellness and our health, and Jupiter is the planet of excess. So if you went a little too hard, you're probably feeling some awkwardness because of that Sunday morning. But then by 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, so 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, on Sunday the 26th, the waning gibbous moon moves into Libra. On Monday, the moon is the first quarter moon, so we start taking action. But when the moon moves into Libra, this is this final phase, or this final moment of release. And this is kind of a moment of awareness. We'll enjoy being around our family more with the moon in Libra. And you can actually see that moon in Libra here on our chart. We enjoy relating to others more. Libra is that sign of relationships, of balance, of energies exchanging. So we'll enjoy being around loved ones. We'll want to create harmony and balance in our lives. We'll enjoy teamwork and partnership. And the day before the first quarter moon on Sunday, we can start to think about taking action from a place of balance, because the first quarter moon is when we start to take action, take steps, whatever intentions we set during or I should say this is the last quarter moon. I apologize. This is the last quarter moon, not the first quarter moon. So this is an ultimate moment of release. This isn't action. Scratch that. So the last quarter moon, we are release from a place of balance rather than taking action from a place of balance. Ask yourself what doesn't feel balanced within you emotionally, right? Especially because on Sunday, we're talking about looking forward to 2022, making those long-term plans, dreaming big. Well, make sure whatever dreams and plans you're talking about are coming from a place of balance. We'll cultivate balance in your life within 2022, especially because, 2022 is that 222 year. It's going to be all about partnerships and balance and harmony. That's what the number 2 represents in numerology. So make sure whatever dreams and even manifestations that you're putting out there on Sunday, make sure you're taking into account having balance in your life when you do achieve those, and creating balance as you're striving towards those goals. By 6 p.m. on Sunday night, the 26th, the Libra moon, this nice harmonious internal energy, squares off to the Capricorn sun, which is very achievement focused. So emotionally, we want peace and harmony, but rationally, we know on Sunday, we need to start getting our butts into gear for the week ahead. That's that Capricorn sun being like, hey, we've got things to do. We have responsibilities. We have duties. And so as you're coming down off the holiday high, as maybe you're getting home from holiday travel, you'll know you got to start that load of laundry or whatever it looks like to be prepared for the week ahead for you. It'll probably bring some tension, some stress, some conflict internally when you kind of do have to go back to reality after the holidays. And the final transit we'll talk about through the weekend on the 26th is the Libra moon opposing Chiron, the wounded healer. So we've had a lot of activations from Chiron over this weekend. And, Chiron representing our deepest wounds is definitely going to be felt around family. So if your holiday plans involve family, expect those deep wounds to be triggered. That would go without saying, talking about the astrology or not. But as you're reflecting on the weekend, maybe you've gotten home, maybe you're, winding down, getting ready for the week ahead, you might be reflecting on the wounds that were triggered this weekend as well. So, Chiron in Aries really makes it so we can't ignore those wounds. We can't just push them to the side and neglect them. So as you're reflecting, try not to let them activate you again. Maybe try to use this moment as, still trying to find that balance. Like I just talked about, how can you move forward with more balance? How can you go into that situation again, either as the holidays continue or in the new year, and show up in a little bit more balanced, harmonious state so you aren't as activated the next time these wounds get triggered? Because, healing isn't a destination, it's a journey. And Chiron reminds us of that. We'll definitely be feeling that on Sunday night. So let's do kind of an overview, walk you through the whole weekend really quickly, and then we will pull a card. All right. So we have a lot of energy coming at us this Christmas. On the evening of the 23rd, morning of the 24th, Saturn forms an exact square to Uranus. We have been feeling this energy for the past week and will continue to feel it through the end of the year, but this is essentially a clash between the old and the new. This could bring conflict between generations. We can feel like we want freedom, but we're very aware of our restrictions, especially when it comes to the pandemic. So this is almost like we have one foot in the future and one foot in the past, and that can bring a lot of tension. On Christmas Day, Venus forms a conjunction to Pluto yet again, and Venus is retrograde. So we're revisiting past versions of ourselves, and we're really reviewing our relationship and our values when it comes to love and money. When Pluto is thrown into the mix, we could have a death and rebirth surrounding those areas of our life. Our emotions can feel more intense, and we will be very much aware and tapped into the transformation that's happening in those areas of our life. The moon is in Virgo for Christmas Eve and Christmas, making it enjoyable to serve others. We will be a little bit more tapped into our analytical mind, kind of rushing around, trying to cross things off our to-do list. We'll be very emotionally aware of our expectations of ourselves and our expectations of other people with the moon in Virgo. So as this waning moon is in a releasing phase, really try to release those expectations of yourself, of other people, and that should help you flow through your holiday festivities a little bit more easily. Just allowing whatever happens to happen, and releasing expectations of what you thought Christmas or the holidays should look like this year. We end the weekend on December 26th with a sextile between Mercury in Capricorn and Neptune in Pisces. So right as Christmas ends, we're already thinking about the future, having these grand visions and dreams and fantasies about what 2022 will hold. And we can also have some really healing and sentimental conversations, especially with those older family members or loved ones, when Mercury forms this sextile to Neptune. The moon moves into Libra on Sunday as well, making it more enjoyable to just relax and just be around family members, be in our relationships, and finding a little bit more harmony and balance to end out our weekend. So that is everything. If you are only tuning into part of this at the end, I will go ahead and make chapters so you can watch it day by day and revisit. It's a little easier to navigate the video that way. But the last thing we'll do in this video is we will pull a card and see what the universe has for us today. And I'm going to pull from the Modern Witch Tarot deck. Here it is. Let's see. I've got to scoot you guys back a little bit. Hold on. This is this is my little makeshift live stream setup here. Okay. What do we need to know? What do we need to know as we navigate the energy of the holiday season? The Two of Wands. All right. Let me look up the meaning of this because, as you guys know, I am not a tarot expert, so I do have to grab my little guidebook. And I love you guys saying hello in the comments too. Let me know if you have any questions as I am looking up the Two of Wands. All right. Has everybody traveled for the holidays already? Are you getting ready to travel? Are you feeling that Saturn square Uranus energy right now because it's really building? And Venus retrograde is kind of an intense energy as well. So, you know, it's a good thing you're watching this video. It's a good thing you're here. All right, Two of Wands. Here we go. You are a commanding presence looking down on the world below you. The phone in your hand holds questions while you wonder what to do and where to go next. You've had success lately, but are a bit uncertain about your next steps. It's not time to rest yet, though. Don't get distracted and stay fixed on your goal. So to me, this saying, you are a commanding presence, this is very much reminding us to stand in our energy, be aware of our power as we're going into these gatherings with family members. Make sure you're aware of the impact and the energy you can have on other people. Love that. I just love that the first words are, you are a commanding presence. But yeah, it also says you've had success lately, but are a bit uncertain about your next steps. And so, that's okay. Just celebrate your success. This is a time to celebrate, just enjoy the holidays and be where you are right now. All right. Thanks everybody who has been coming into the comments. Hey, Shauna. Hello, Michael. Merry Christmas. Oh my gosh. Just noticed. Look at Mo. Look at him right here. How cute. Just right over my shoulder. Christmas and astrology. Oh, the irony. Yeah, definitely different schools of thought there, but Christmas has become a lot more than religion for a lot of people. So, I did actually, on the winter solstice, you can go watch my video on that. I talk about the relationship between different cultures and religions and the winter solstice. So a little bit more of a tie between astrology and Christianity over in that video, if you are interested. All right. Thank you everybody for joining me in our live stream, walking through all the energy coming at us over the holidays. I hope this helps you be a little bit more prepared for whatever festivities you are heading out to over the next couple days. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you can take full advantage of the special time you have with friends and family over the next couple days. I am sending you so much love and light this holiday season. I'm so grateful for all of you being a part of my life, supporting me, and being in my community. You are loved. Know that this holiday season, and I'll see you right back here on Monday morning. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.